Tonight on Crimewatch, some bizarre goings-on. Robbers dressed as skeletons. The skip that crashed into a bank. The woman who didn't know there was a bomb scare and drove straight over the bomb.
Darren Gough, England's much-capped cricketer, appeals for his best cap back. And we've CCTV of the thief who stole it. First, some results.
You may have seen the news about the arrest of Trevor Masters. He'd been on trial for 9 sex attacks, including rape, but jumped bail. He was given 12 years in his absence. One of his victims gave this account on December's programme.
Trevor Masters started abusing me when I was 11, and 3 or 4 times a week until I was 14. He used to punch and kick my brother, and he had numerous knives and weapons around the walls of the house. He threatened me with a horsewhip once.
We had over 60 calls, 2 especially useful, and as a direct result, officers in France began following a trail of cash withdrawals. It led detectives to the town of Pau, where Trevor Masters is now being held, awaiting extradition.
2 months ago, we got dozens of calls about a parcel bomb sent to a family in a village in Gloucestershire. Subsequently, we heard about another case, and if anything, it's even more baffling. Unless you can shed some light on it.
On 95.8 FM and 1485 AM, live from the BBC Radio Merseyside News, keeping you in touch.
I was trying to get home as quickly as possible. I was going on holiday with my sister for the weekend, and my dad was going to drop us off to catch a coach. I was a bit on edge because I thought I was going to be late.
Late? Mate, bloody traffic. I'm going to burst. Tell Dad to get everything ready in the car.
Please? Oh, let me help you with those.
No, I'm all right, love. Just open the door for us, please.
Oh, here, love, take the mail with you. Have a great time. Be careful.
Right, see you on Sunday.
Bye.
Is Katie ready? Has Dad got everything?
Calm down. They're both in the car waiting for you. Off you go, love.
Thanks, Mum. Bye.
I don't often get packages in the post, just your usual mail, bills, nothing unusual. I just remember thinking at the time, wow, somebody spent £4 sending me a parcel, which, you know, someone really wanted to send me this. When I pulled out a gold tin and it said Galaxy on it, I thought that was unusual because it wasn't packaged like a box of Galaxy would have been packaged, and it was a heck of a lot heavier. It had obviously been opened before, and so when I did open it, I was cautious, I suppose.
Drive, Dad, drive! It looked like a bomb! It looked like a bomb!
I'd never seen anything like it in my life. I didn't know what a bomb looked like, apart from, you know, what you see on the television, and how accurate that is, you don't know. It had a smell, a bit like fireworks type of smell, and that frightened me more so than the sight of it.
Can you stay in the house, please? Don't go near the front windows. We've got a suspect package.
The first police officer on the scene warned residents and then planned to stop the traffic.
Stop! Stop! Stay! Stop! Don't go down there! Stop! Stop there! Don't go down there!
In her confusion, the driver clipped the bomb, but thankfully didn't separate the lid. If she'd done so, she and others might have died. It contained low-power explosive, but was sophisticated and packed with nails.
It just feels horrible to think that it could have injured so many people. It had the potential to do so much harm. If I could understand why somebody had wanted to kill me, or if I could see a motive for somebody wanting to kill me, maybe I would feel disgusted and upset and sick. But I can't think of any reason, and I couldn't relate to somebody who would want to do that to somebody who, as far as I'm concerned, is completely innocent. I've moved away from the area, changed my job, and I've just been trying to get on with things and not think about it and try and put it all behind me.
Very, very frightening for Claire to get something like this. Do you think the bomb maker knows her?
I think it's personal. They spelt her name correctly. They gave the correct address, the postal code. This was personal. This was meant for Claire Bagley.
What about the bomb? Tell us about the bomb.
The bomb, I've seen other devices. This was a very sophisticated device.
And it came in this, didn't it? This Galaxy chocolate box.
It did, yes. And as far as I'm concerned, is that this person who's put this together has probably done something similar before. It was very sophisticated.
Horrifyingly, you can find out about bomb making on the internet, and
Yes.
there's books and things. You don't think it's someone who would have just kind of bodged it together from finding out about it like that?
That's not a first-timer. They've done something similar before.
And what about the way he or she posted it as well?
It was posted for £1 stamps, which is far more than it would cost you to post a parcel of that size. That tells me that the individual who's done this had saved them going into a post office, having to have it weighed. Therefore, there's a possibility that person could be identified.
So they obviously put it through a letterbox so they could do it anonymously.
A pillar box, nobody would see them.
Now, for Claire getting this bomb, I mean, it could have killed her. She's had to move away. I mean, the damage not only to her, but the whole area could have been horrendous. If it is personal, I mean, nothing that she could have done inadvertently could possibly justify this, could it?
There is nothing that she could have done which would have caused somebody to do something like this. If Claire had taken the lid off that device that night, she'd have certainly been killed or seriously injured, as would her father, as would her younger sister.
OK, well, let's see what we can get tonight. I mean, actually, there's just one other thing, which is that Claire is a pharmacist, isn't she?
She is.
But you don't think that's related to this, animal rights or anything like that?
We've looked at Claire's background and there is no connection with animal rights or terrorist activity. This is personal and it was meant for Claire.
Horrifying stuff. This was a sophisticated bomb, as you've heard, and there is a dangerous person out there. If you know anything, call free to the studio number on 0500 600 600 or 0151 777 3469.
Belinda won't be watching tonight because she's only 2. But her mum might be, in which case I have to tell her that her husband, or boyfriend, seems to be a child molester.
Belinda was a passenger in the back of a metallic blue BMW on the A13 in Leigh-on-Sea in Essex. A 16-year-old with learning difficulties was walking along the A13 past Thames Drive. Somehow, the driver coaxed him into the car. The boy was then taken on a 3-hour drive and sexually assaulted. He remembers his attacker as being in his 30s, smartly dressed and with a goatee beard. In fact, the boy's a good witness. He recalls the BMW was an automatic. It had light-coloured leather seats, and the little girl in the back was always spoken to as Belinda.
I feel absolutely horrified that it could happen to my son. My boy's still agitated of going out on his own. Our hearts do go out to the mother of the baby to think that this gentleman could have a baby in the car going out to try and pick young children up.
So do you know who Belinda is? She called the driver Daddy. So more importantly, do you know who her dad is? Ring now to the studio or the Instant Room direct 01702 431 212.
This is an anti-personnel mine. It's disarmed, obviously, but step on a real one and it can kill you. Once the war is over, thousands of mines are left scattered across the land for innocent people to tread on. There's ambulances like these that rescue those people and save lives. Incredibly, someone has stolen 2 of these, belonging to the Halo Trust. They were laden with computer equipment, body armour, visors and medical kit in bags like this, ready to save lives in Somaliland. They were inside a lorry stolen last month from a car park at Bilston near Wolverhampton. We just want to get them and the equipment back. The charity has no money to replace them, and quite simply, a lot of people will lose limbs or die in minefields if they're not recovered. If you know anything about them, give us a call. 0500 600 600 or 01902 649 104.
All murders are, of course, unsettling, but this one has a particular edge to it. There's no apparent reason for it. There's a strange way in which the body was laid out, and we've no idea who did it. Unless, maybe, you can tell us otherwise.
10 miles north of York is the village of Hewby, and from here it's a 15-minute walk to Sutton-on-the-Forest, home of David Williamson. But after heading home on Mothering Sunday, he was found here by the roadside with savage injuries.
As a brother, I knew he'd always be there for me, even though we didn't see eye to eye sometimes. But that's brother and sister relationship anyway.
David was a blunt Yorkshireman, an epileptic who didn't work but did chores for a neighbour, Vera Macpherson, fetching her shopping on the bus and walking her dog. When the dog eventually died, he continued the walks on his own, which earned him the nickname Dogless Dave.
He was what you call a loner, but he was very kind to me. And he did say, when I first met him, if I needed anything, he'd be very willing to help me. He'd do some shopping twice a week. Then he'd come back and bring the shopping in, put it away in the fridge. He was a very good friend. David was a very, very good friend.
Yes.
Sunday, March the 25th was Mothering Sunday, and David had lunch with his parents at his sister's house in York.
Oh, got a bit of a celebration. Oh, that's wonderful.
I think he was very lonely, but I think he was probably too proud to admit how lonely he was, even to me.
Because of his epilepsy, David couldn't drive, so his parents dropped him back at his local pub in Hewby. It was an important night at the Star. The landlord was emigrating to Canada next day, so a party was in full swing.
Hi, Charles.
David rarely came here in the evenings, but this was one he couldn't miss. As well as locals, the Star was crowded with people from outside the area, including fishermen who'd been taking part in a competition at Oak Tree Lakes. If you were there or know anyone who was, please call. At 11:30, David left for home. The clocks had gone forward the previous night and timings may now be confused. In fact, little is clear from here on in. What we do know is a stranger was loitering suspiciously on the corner of West Villas, not far from the pub. Perhaps entirely innocent. Who was he? When he realised he'd been seen, he strode off, where David was heading, towards Sutton-on-the-Forest. A local driver saw a black car parked by Bentley's barn. Maybe lovers. If so, call in confidence. It's a few feet from where David was found. The footpath runs beside the road past the barn. Maybe other drivers saw somebody walking. Much later, at about 5 in the morning, a council worker had to swerve to avoid a pedestrian on the road from Sutton-on-the-Forest towards York. About the same time, an early walker found David near the barn, apparently asleep. He'd been hit from behind, hard enough to break his skull.
He spent the whole night till about 10:15 by his side, and then he died.
Nigel, I know you really don't know what the motive is, but what are your guesses? What are your hunches?
It's a complete mystery. It would be wrong to say that David was popular with everyone in the village. At times he could be quite abrupt and offhand with people. Clearly that is not a motive for murder, but certainly we do feel that there are people that are not coming forward with information because of the way that David has been at times.
So anybody who's in Sutton-on-the-Forest and Hewby, I mean, if they've got any thoughts at all, they should be ringing in tonight.
If they have any thoughts whatsoever in relation to what has happened, they should
let's make it clear,
us.
there were no defence wounds on him. Somebody struck him hard from behind.
That is quite correct, yes. Someone came up behind and struck David. The way that David was found, one possible theory actually is that the person didn't intend to actually kill David. It may well be that that is actually the case.
Tell me why, when you say the way he was found.
There certainly seemed to be some compassion in the way that he was found by the side of the road.
As though someone had realised what they'd done and tried to make it right.
Yes, that's correct. It would appear that was the case. We're obviously still awaiting some forensic tests, but it would look that someone has suddenly come to the senses and realised what they've done.
Whoever did it is watching Crimewatch tonight. Supposing they ring you, what's going to happen to them?
If they contact the police, which I would urge them to do, this is still a very serious matter. A person's life has been taken. However, if they contact the police, obviously the compassion of contacting the police and coming forward will help them considerably.
If not, of course, there are various other ways in which you can start to trace them. I mean, first is that black car which is parked by the barn, and that was only 10 or 12 feet away. Absolute confidence, is it, for lovers, whoever was in that car, if they come forward?
That is quite correct. If it is lovers, if they come forward, we will treat any information that they give us in the strictest
And that
confidence.
man in the village, supposing, as I said in the film, maybe it was purely innocent, but supposing he was up to a bit of no good but had nothing to do with this murder, what happens if he comes forward?
Again, if the person comes forward, explains to us what he was doing, we do need to eliminate him from the inquiry. Again, we will treat the information in confidence.
And the guy walking from Sutton-on-the-Forest towards York at 5 o'clock in the morning, you need to eliminate him. Interestingly, while we were doing filming in the village, somebody came forward and told us about a blue Volvo which might be implicated. We hadn't heard anything about that.
Yes, that's quite correct. That was the first that we'd actually heard of it. A chef at another public house in the village was leaving work about 20 to 10 when he saw what he describes as an old blue Volvo, possibly B registration and estate, driving around the village. The driver appeared to be lost or as if he was looking for something. The vehicle was seen by the same witness a short time later again in the village of Sutton-on-the-Forest.
OK, was that you? Sunday the 25th of March, remember? And incidentally, it's a long shot this, but a gold chain like this seems to be missing. Can you link that in any way at all? There's a £5,000 reward. Please call us here to the studio, 0500 600, or to the incident room on 01 904 618 618. Now let's go to our own detectives.
This is a fake police warrant card, although it looks very authentic. But the person who used it is definitely not a policeman, and I need you to tell us who he is, please. There's been a report of him trying to blackmail a London minicab driver into sexual activities. Now, although the driver was unlicensed, we're not charging him. We just want to speak to anyone else who this may have happened to. So here's a safety tip. Have a look at my warrant card, which I can assure you is real. If you're shown a warrant card, no policeman will mind you examining it closely. 0500 600 600 or 020 8733 6252. And now I'll pass you on to another very real police officer.
Now, there's nothing more romantic than someone giving you a ring, unless perhaps it was stolen. So, if one of this lot gets down on one knee to you, beware. One of these men wrenched open a display cabinet at Horsham, West Sussex, and took 14 rings. A woman in the shop gave chase bravely, but they got away. And over in East Sussex at Seaford, this man asks for an eyeglass to examine a ring and then does a runner. Next to Truro in Cornwall, this man takes a fancy to a watch, a Rolex Datejust. In fact, he likes it so much he decides not to pay for it. Now, for any of these five faces, 0500 600 600.
Think back. What were you doing in the few days after Christmas? It's a time a family in London will never forget. The family was sitting around chatting in the early evening, and a friend was using a computer in the next room.
Everybody stay down! Nobody moves!
It's no joke! Open the safe!
Who's this? What's happening? Who's put you up? Stay calm, this is no joke! Get over there!
Who are these guys?
At the beginning, we thought it's a joke, it's a prank. Maybe my son's friends were coming, it's Christmas, festive season. The first reaction is, oh, come on, do something else, boys, you've grown up.
Get in there with the rest of them!
And at this time, knives appeared in their hands. Those few seconds were really the most terrifying for me.
I know you've got one.
I don't know how to open it.
I can't have it do it.
Come on. Oh, right, calm down. Come on, lively. Don't let her go in her own.
My idea was that the wife should not be alone with that guy with a knife in his hand in the room. So I grabbed the umbrella and pulled it from him. And he came with a knife. And immediately I held the blade in my hand. I twisted it and broke it.
I'm not scared of you. Robert. I'm not scared of you.
So I was insisting that my daughter should go and be with her. They sort of accepted this.
Johnny, I'm bringing the girl.
Get him to calm himself down. Okay, you calm down too, okay? You calm down first, okay? Robert.
I mean, I'm not a hero, don't get me wrong. And if somebody tells you he's a hero at these positions, no, he's not. But other stronger feelings take over from fear. To me, it was anger. And the thought of my two girls are in the room with a very jittery, nervous guy who has a knife in his hand.
Come on! Do it!
I'm trying.
Do it!
My hands
Do
are
it
shaking
now!
too much.
Look,
here's a girl.
I've got your daughter now. If you don't do it, I'm going to cut her. Now hurry up and do it.
If you want me to open the safe, you must put the knife down.
Shut it! Get down the floor and do it! Calm down. Okay, it's okay.
She got it yet?
She's mucking about. Hurry up! Okay, it's okay.
She got it yet?
It's all right. It's okay.
She's got it.
Get out of the way!
Bag it!
After them! Get after them!
There was a fourth man, a white man, in the car. The flat is in South Kensington and the Ford Sierra Sapphire headed west. It was found 2 days later in Isleworth, West London. The car had been bought for cash the day before the robbery on the other side of town in Benfleet, Essex. But did you see anyone abandon it in Scion Lane? And were you offered any of the stolen jewellery, like this rare turquoise oyster Rolex watch, or this distinctive necklace? This is one of several robberies by the gang. London accents, late 20s to early 30s. One broad-shouldered black man, a white man, and a lighter-skinned Afro-Caribbean they called Johnny. He wore an Yves Saint Laurent jacket.
Somebody walks to your house, to your home, which is supposed to be your castle. And they just strip you. It's too much.
As we said in that reconstruction there, this isn't the only robbery they've done. It's one of a whole series. And police think next time someone could get badly hurt, there's a £10,000 reward. 0500 600 600 or 020 7321 6748.
Interestingly, Fiona, even before that item really got underway, we had a name phoned in, which is quite interesting. Also, we've got a name that's been put forward for that parcel bomb in Formby. Now, it does link to the victim's family, and I can't say anything more than that at the moment. Obviously, it's got to be checked out. The Leon C, that was the abduction of the young man with a little girl, Belinda, the 2-year-old, in the back of the car. Do you remember it was a blue BMW, automatic, with had pale leather interior? We've had 4 names put up for that, none of them the same, but 4 to look into so far. And on the ambulances, we haven't yet found the ambulances. We've had reports of them all the way from Norfolk through to County Antrim. Lots of generous people offering to loan vehicles instead, though. Incidentally, if you've been a victim of a crime, you might like to call victim support on 0845 30 30 900.
Coming up, A fetish for fire extinguishers, the man on the London Underground who's putting commuters' lives at risk. And Darren Gough, England's much-capped cricketer, appeals for his best cap back. We've CCTV of the thief who stole it.
Mary Hancock lived in Southport in Merseyside, a sprightly 92-year-old. In fact, so sprightly, many of her neighbours thought she was in her 70s.
Southport is a very friendly town. It's a lovely town to live in. And we don't have any big crimes. And she felt very safe here. She felt as though she could walk anywhere. That morning, Mary had her hair done by her granddaughter. And she said that being a nice day, she would take a walk in the afternoon after her lunch and combine it with perhaps a little visit to the shops. It was very typical of Mary to resist any attack on her person. She would defend her territory.
And the address of the location then for the ambulance? You're on Lowland Road, opposite house number 42. We've got a lady here who's been mugged.
She was very brave throughout the whole thing. She didn't make a fuss. She was telling me, which I found quite upsetting, that all was in her bag was a £10 note and what she described as some bibs and bobs and a lipstick, and that was all.
What about the woman who attacked you? Can you describe her?
Oh, I can describe her quite vividly. In her 20s, she was quite plump and had blonde hair. I think it was bleached. She didn't have a thin face. She never said a word. But I definitely recognise her again.
A month after the attack, Mary died from her injuries. So this is now a murder inquiry.
Mary was a very gentle, very kind, a very gracious person, loved by her family, loved by her friends. All in all, she was just enjoying her life. She deserved a lot better.
So who killed Mary? And who was the man driving that white car? This couple surely must have made a handbag snatch habit, but this can't just have been one out of the blue. Have you encountered them before somewhere? If so, tell us now, please. Have you got any idea who they are? 0500 600 600 or 0151 777 3466.
And some more results. Last year we showed CCTV of an attack on a man outside a hospital. Raymond Khan was told he'd been on Crimewatch and handed himself in. He's been sentenced to 200 hours community service. Christopher Jackson shot his boss after an argument, but a viewer knew where he was hiding. He was found in an attic, and 2 weeks ago he was given 7 years. Thomas Dickinson was wanted for an act of indecency with an 11-year-old boy. A viewer rang in with the name of a bar where he was working, and police arrested him there. He's been sentenced to 11 months. 2 months ago, we showed how a row outside a nightclub in Luton got out of hand and Marcus Hall was killed. Thanks to you, police inquiries have reached an advanced stage, but we still need you to trace 2 men, both aged 25 and from West London. They're Adebayo Ekun, 5'10", and Kevin Monty, who's 6 foot tall. If you know where they are, please call the Instant Room on 01582 394 248.
Do you know who this is? It's a thief stealing from the back of a car in Swiss Cottage in North London. What he's taken is particularly precious to its owner. And the owner is someone every cricket fan will know. Yorkshire and England's much-loved and record-breaking fast bowler, Darren Gough. Darren.
Hello.
Tell us about what was stolen.
Well, basically everything in my car, he probably knew, but I was going to have lots of things in there after the test match. There was leather jackets, there was training kit, there was trainers, shirts, 7 pairs of sunglasses, computer, 7 pairs. He must have had a field day.
The most important thing was your cap. Tell us about the cap.
Yep, the England cap. When you play 25 games, you get a cap with 25 on. When you play 50, you get the same England cap, but it's got a 50 underneath. When you're 75 and 100. So it is quite a special cap. Although I never wore it in the game, it is special because it was presented to me before the start of play.
So anyone who's stolen that cap will very much know that they have your 50th Test cap.
Yeah, and there's only probably 3 people who have played 50 Test matches since we've started doing the caps. So it's not as though there's plenty around. So I'm probably only the 3rd person to get one because we've only been doing it for the last 18 months or so.
You do get some of your stuff back. Tell us how that happened.
Well, some of that, I got all the whites back. Obviously, didn't think you could do anything with the whites. They got my initials on the sleeve and my test number 568 underneath the logo. But some were found in a skip, and then the rest of it were returned to the Sun newspaper by two youths who said they found it in a football field.
And didn't leave their name?
No.
So all you want now is for them to do it, or somebody to do it, with your cap, which has 50 on the inside of it?
Yeah, the cap's obviously the one. It was, although I never wore it in the game, it was something presented to me before the start, and it would be nice to get the original one back, yeah.
Quite nice to get this guy caught as well.
Yes, it would be, yeah. Very nice.
Well, let's see if you can help. Take another look. Do you recognise him? 0500 600 600 or 020 8733 6066.
Now, for our next reconstruction, to be raped is horrific enough. But for one woman, the ordeal was made even worse because a stranger who'd attacked her approached her in the street a week later.
Just walking past the bus stop and I heard my name called.
Vicky? Hello, Vicky?
It was the man that had attacked me.
Saturday afternoon outside Sainsbury's in Athlone Road in Alperton, West London, and he walked off towards the Ealing Road.
To know that he knew my name was the most chilling thing. It was terrifying.
The rape itself had happened 8 days earlier.
How is Vicky today?
Distraught. Just absolutely distraught. However, we did manage to talk quite a lot about exactly what had happened, and she gave me some more detail, a lot of recall.
The week before Easter, and Vicky, though that's not her real name, was heading for a Friday night drink with a friend.
Oh yeah, can I have tea, please?
Pint of lager,
During the course of the evening, she spotted, hanging around a snooker table, a group of young men, one in particular who made sort of eye contact with her. He smiled, and she just looked back at him and disengaged, basically.
I noticed him because he was looking and smiling, and I thought nothing of it.
Have you? No, I went to... have you seen Gladiator?
About 9 o'clock, she then left for the Pleasure Boat, a pub opposite, where she could dance.
The Pleasure Boat is 5 minutes' walk down the Ealing Road. Were you there, or did you move there from the Plough in Alperton that Friday evening?
During the course of this evening, this guy that she'd recognised from the pub previously came up to her and tried to dance with her.
I thought, you're the guy that was over the road. You kind of notice people because they're both the same sort of pub. If you're not a regular, you get noticed. He said, do you want me to walk you home? I'm like, it's silly, it's out of your way. You miss the bus, you won't be able to get home. And
Then,
see you later.
Okay, yeah, I'll speak to you soon. Bye.
I do the walk quite often. You know, I've lived there 20 years.
On her way home, Vicky went to Sainsbury's, 11 o'clock on a Friday night the week before Easter. Did you see a man who caught your attention, maybe hanging around outside? From Sainsbury's, Vicky walked down Athlone Road, through an industrial estate and eventually to Manor Farm Road.
I didn't notice anybody at all. I didn't see anybody around me, wasn't aware of anybody walking near me, behind me or anything.
Grabbed her left arm, grabbed her hair and dragged her into the open parkway just there.
It all happened so instantaneously that as I heard something, I felt the pulling sensation. It went over.
The main point of contact seemed to be across her mouth. He was very strong, his whole body weight was across her.
It wasn't until he swung me round that I recognised him as the person that was in the plough and the pleasure boat. I screamed and nobody came.
She did at one point, after the rape had occurred, he tried to kiss her. So she bit him in the lip and bit him in the right side of his face.
Has that left a mark at all, does she think?
I think it was strong enough. She said she just bit him as hard as she could.
I had to go to the hospital because of what he'd done, and I had some lacerations inside. I had some bruising on my stomach.
Before he ran off, the rapist grabbed some personal belongings, including her lipstick, gloves and black jacket.
He knows my name and he knows who I am. I'm on antidepressants. I can't work, I can't sleep. I've been moved out of my house. My fiance's lost his job through it. My mother's lost her home. Total disruption, total upheaval.
Jim, we feature, sadly, quite a lot of rapes on Crimewatch, and I certainly have never come across a case where an attacker or a rapist has gone back to the victim after the event. I mean, how common is that?
It's very rare. Our unit deals exclusively with rape, and I would say this is very, very uncommon.
What about the attacker? What do we know about him?
He's a white male, about 5'7" tall, stocky build, short, blonde hair. We believe he's local to the area, and he's very confident in the way he's carried out this attack.
And even though you think he's local, he hasn't got a local accent,
That's right, no he hasn't. But the nature of the confrontation after the event would tend to suggest that he's local.
What about the mark that may have been left on his face, because she bit him, didn't she?
That's right, she did, and she's drawn blood. There was a scab 2 weeks afterwards when she's seen him again in the street. So if anyone recognises the picture or seeing someone with that scab on their face, and also we'd like them to come forward. That's right.
It's a very odd mark to explain away, isn't
it? That's right, it is, yes.
Was there anything particular in the way that he carried out this attack?
It was a very violent attack. He has spat on her and bitten her as well. So it's a horrific attack.
So someone, I don't know, girlfriend maybe, or wife, or someone may recognise that kind of behaviour?
That's right, it could have been behaviour that's been used in the past.
And he took some items from her as well?
He did, he took a pair of black gloves, a coat, and also a small lipstick, Clarins lipstick.
And that's got a gold case, hasn't it?
That's right, it has, yes.
And the black coat, was a black jacket?
It was a black jacket, it had pink lining, a woman's jacket, made by New Look.
Right, and black chenille, wool chenille gloves.
That's right, yes.
OK, so obviously pretty odd for a guy to have
That's
that kind
right,
of thing.
so we're looking for anyone that would have seen a man with those items.
Right, OK, well, let's see what we can do. If you can help at all, call the studio or the incident room. That's on 020 8733 3946.
Well, from an appalling and complex case to a simple one. A hooligan in Cardiff, the evening before a match between Liverpool and Birmingham City. And that's a bottle he's throwing. Is he from Cardiff, or did he travel in for the match? Maybe he's got the sense to hand himself in for somebody shops him. 0500 600 600 or 029 2077 4257.
And from one dangerous activity to another. After the King's Cross fire, safety has been a major priority on the London Underground. But this man seems to be single-handedly stripping out fire extinguishers from the southern section of the Northern Line, especially around Stockwell and Kennington. If you know who he is, then please ring 0500 600 600 or call 020 7391 5275.
Some real weirdos now, a lot of effort, a lot of savagery, and a lot of strange clothing, all for a box of petty cash.
Eastbourne in Sussex on Thursday, March the 15th, and not far from the pier is a 3-star hotel called the Chatsworth. The night porter is Victor McGuigan.
I've been in the hotel since I was 16. Now I'm 64 now. Another year and I'll be retired 65. I love it. I love it. I wouldn't do any other trade.
That night, the hotels were full because of a conference in town, the National Association of Pension Funds. Victor came on shift at 9 p.m.
I was sitting in the main lounge and I heard this big bang behind me. But when I saw them, they were dressed up as skeletons. Well, I thought it was a joke, really. I mean, I said to myself, there must be a fancy dress show in Eastbourne. The tall one got me on the floor, and he punched me a couple of times.
In fact, he nearly punched his eye out.
And then he tied my arms around my back with a hairdryer.
All they were after was the cash float.
I've got it! I've got it!
£200 or £300 at most.
I've got it! Come on!
Then where did the skeletons go? An unmissable sight if you were in Trinity Place, just off the seafront.
The hospital doctor said I was lucky enough to lose my eye, so she put 9 stitches in there. I'm not a scary person, but that night I was shaking like a leaf. I thought it was going to kill me, really.
It was a busy night in Eastbourne that Thursday 3 months ago. If you saw these skeleton outfits, masks like this, and incidentally, who bought 2 of these together? Rather unusual thing to buy 2 for a fancy dress party. Well, if you'd seen these, you might have thought nothing about it in Eastbourne then, thinking it was just that, a fancy dress party. But what happened to Victor was no joke. Call the studio, 0500 600 600 or 0845 60 70 999.
And believe it or not, we've had some calls on that already, thanks to the pre-publicity on that skeleton's case. Mary Hancock, the 92-year-old who was mugged and later died, we've had a lot of calls on that, a lot of names. 2 people have rung in with names for the theft of Darren Goff's England cap. And also some very generous people have rung in, kindly offering vehicles, loans of vehicles to the Halo Trust for those 2 missing ambulances. You can send donations and any offers of help to the Halo Trust. That's PO Box 7905, Thornhill, DG3 5WA. And keep watching for the Ram Raid, the gang that plunged a skip lorry through the wall of a bank.
2 men now we need to find. Kevin Fisher was being tried for the murder of a publican during an armed raid, and the trial's now been halted. And now Geoffrey Hoare was a head teacher, but he's being sought for a string of sexual assaults on girls who were in his care. Tell us where they are. 0500 600 600. And now Jackie's got some more.
3 people went into a man's house and stabbed him through the heart. Amazingly, the victim is still alive. 2 men have been arrested, but we still need to find this man, Louis Men. His real name is Louis Emencheta. Next, Winston White, or Campbell, is wanted after a 44-year-old woman was found badly injured and unconscious after falling 5 floors from her home in Hackney. Now, we'd like to talk to Winston White about the case, so please ring on either of those cases, 0500 600 600.
A spectacular ram raid on a bank, though, as you'll see, it's rather odd that the robbers didn't just walk in through the door while the bank was open. The place, Kyle Bowlby in Doncaster. The date, Wednesday, April the 25th. A security guard walked past part of the preparations for the raid while he was on his way to work in the CCTV control room.
Carhill Industrial Estate has a little sub-branch of the NatWest, open between 11 and 3. 2 of the cashiers regularly park by the side wall.
To deposit this, please. Thanks.
This is Stevens. Hello.
Can I have a balance on Mike?
Just as the bank was about to close, the skip was on the move.
Can't park here, mate.
Around the same time, someone was seen trying to move the car.
Absolutely. OK, yeah, thank you. OK, but give us a ring if there's any problem. Will do. OK, bye-bye.
The bank closed promptly at 3 p.m. and the staff started to cash up.
Get down! Get down now! Move it! Down! Stay there! Come on, hurry up, come on!
The car was abandoned in Queen Street, half a mile away. Were you around then, just after 3 on Wednesday, April the 25th?
There's a lot of money for anyone who can solve this crime, and the gunman will surely have a circle of people who know about it. A free phone call now can make you £15,000. And who was the man asking for directions?
Excuse me, mate. Can I drive out up this way? Yeah, can you stop there? Cheers, mate.
That was on the morning of the robbery, in the street where the car was dumped. Who was that? And who knows who stole the skip lorry from Sheffield? And who's heard anybody bragging about this? It's a free phone number, 0800 783 1258. Or on this or any other crime, you can always call Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111.
We make an appeal now to people in Harold Hill, near Romford in Essex. There's a gang that roams about full of bravado, but 9 months ago their behaviour got way out of hand. The unlucky victim was 20, a local boy, Dean Everett.
As old as Dean was, I couldn't sleep until he was in, and I knew he was safely in bed. And directly I heard his key in the lock, I could sleep.
That night, Dean had been for a quiet drink at the local community centre. He left just after last orders. It's just a 5-minute walk from the centre to his home in Amersham Road.
Someone shouted out. I thought they called me, I think. Then they come running over, and then they all surrounded me, and one of them punched me from the side. Then they all started punching me as I went down the floor. Just started kicking me.
The attack was unprovoked, and if you were on Petersfield Avenue, you may have seen the gang as they ran away, whooping with triumph.
I just tried to get up, and I couldn't move my legs. I couldn't lift myself up off the floor. Then as I just couldn't get up.
They told us his neck was broken and there was damage to the spinal cord. And they operated and put a plate in his neck and some bone from his hip. You know, they said to give him the best possible chance of walking again.
Worked in a tyre place, and I liked it there. So I was learning to drive as well. There wasn't no reason to do it. I ain't staying in a chair the rest of my life. I ain't letting them put me in a chair.
Doctors won't know for 2 years whether Dean will be able to walk again. But after months of paralysis from the neck down, he's regained some use of his hands. Who did this to him? We know they've been boasting about it. Were you a gang member who didn't take part? Did anyone tell you what they'd done? No anonymous calls on this, please. The time has come for people to come forward and be counted. Call the studio or 01708 779 246.
We've had lots of calls about the bogus policeman who targeted a taxi driver. The police are really thrilled, and I'm pretty sure that we're going to be knocking on his door very soon.
Well, I'm going to squeeze in another case in true Crimewatch tradition, and I've got one more face for you to put a name to. Next to London, this man has sexually molested at least a dozen women and girls in just 1 hour. Some in the street, some on the underground, and thankfully the tube now has security cameras everywhere. The woman who attacked said he stank strongly of booze and was unshaven with long, untidy hair. If you know him, call 020 7391 5275.
A nice guy now, in fact widely popular, assassinated as though in a gangland feud. Albert Lutterod, better known as Abs, was shot in the head in a block of flats where his mum lives in West London. The police have had lots of help, but not enough to go for a prosecution. Maybe you can change that. Julian, tell us what happened, first of all.
Indeed, Albert was a well-known and popular figure on the South Acton estate in London, but he far from being a major criminal, but he did dabble in small, low-level cannabis deals. We know that 10 minutes before his murder, he had an argument outside the block of flats with two black males and also a man who is described as being a friend of his. We've never traced the black males, and also we've never traced the so-called friend. We know that after the murder, two black males were seen to run from the side of Barry House into a small black saloon motor car and drive off.
You reckon there'll be a lot of talk about this around the estate and perhaps further afield than that? I mean, Abs was very well known, partly because he was so big. He was something like 6'4", wasn't he?
Yes, he was indeed. He was called a gentle giant, and there will be a lot of talk about this murder. I believe also that the murder is fairly localised, and the people involved in this may well be involved in the local drug scene. I think they may well have bragged about the murder, especially as it's remained unsolved for the past year, a year yesterday. So we're hoping and appealing to people that would have known the people who have done this killing, or indeed will have heard the killers talking, to come forward. There's a substantial reward of £10,000 being offered by the Metropolitan Police, and any information will be treated in the strictest confidence.
£10,000 reward?
£10,000.
There's something rather odd happened when the three split away from Abs. I heard from one statement it was almost as though they recoiled at something.
Yes, indeed. They appeared to be having a conversation outside Barry House, but then for some unknown reason, almost as if somebody produced something, maybe a weapon or whatever, the two unknown black males seemed to recoil back and bomb-burst away and run away. It's my belief they may well have run away and come back a very short time later with a gun.
And somebody's still got that gun in the community, of course.
Yes, indeed.
So it's pretty important, anybody who knows anything.
Yes, indeed. Anyone that knows anything will take the information in the strictest confidence and ask it to ring Crimewatch or indeed the incident room.
OK, and let me just point out, incidentally, that if you do want to call and get the reward, you don't want to give your name, the best is not to call us here, 0500 600 600 on those circumstances. If you want to get the reward, then the best way to do it is to call Crime Stoppers, 0800 555 111. The incident room on this, 020 8358 1731.
We've had a lot of calls so far tonight, some very encouraging calls. I know we're going to get a lot more, so keep ringing in and we'll have more news for you with Crimewatch Update. You can stay awake, that's in 35 minutes.
And it looks like we might have quite a bit more news to tell you. If you're having an early night, though, don't have nightmares. As we always say, do sleep well. Good night.
Good night.